Hello, and welcome to the 30th annual Glorifying the Lion celebration. Every year, the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio honors passionate and distinguished leaders who've made a lasting impact on the greater Cincinnati community through their selfless dedication, commitment, and service to others. The title of the Lions Award was derived from a proverb of the Igbo people of Nigeria that says, "Until lions have their own historians, tales of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." The message is that no telling of history is complete until both sides are told. We're thrilled to honor the 30th class of Lions this year: Dr. Karen Bankston, J. Phillip Holloman, Michael Fisher, Delores Hargrove-Young, Calvin D. Buford, and John E. Pepper. Now, throughout the show, you'll see a QR code on the screen. To honor a lion and to support the great work of the Urban League, scan the QR code with the camera on your phone or visit the website shown below to donate.
My name is Christy Coons, and I am proud to serve as the President and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio. For over 75 years, the Urban League has focused on ending generational poverty and ensuring an equitable path to success through programs focused on financial empowerment, workforce development, entrepreneurship, leadership, and advocacy. Our team is proud to continue this important work by adding new resources and programs to serve the community. In partnership with the National Urban League and the NFL, we have introduced the Urban Expungement Project to help individuals restore their records and get a new lease on life. Our Black Women in Tech program provides women with credentials that lead to high-growth career opportunities in various technology fields, while Building Futures introduces individuals to the training necessary to begin a career in the construction industry. The 6 individuals we're honoring share the League's commitment to empowering communities and changing lives. They have demonstrated a passion and dedication to our region through their hard work, transformational leadership, action, and drive. We appreciate their contributions and are excited to celebrate them today. On behalf of our board chair, Barbara Turner, our board of trustees, and the Urban League staff, we thank all of our sponsors for their support and continued commitment to making our work possible. Ruby sponsor, J. Phillip and Gail Holloman. Gold sponsors, BT Rise and the Turner Family Foundation, Fifth Third Bank, Greater Cincinnati Foundation, John and Francie Pepper, and Kroger. Thank you to the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center for hosting our production, and special thanks to our media partner, WLWT Channel 5, and our production partner, NAC Video and Photo. Thank you for tuning in, and please enjoy the 2024 Glorifying the Lions Awards.
Karen Bankston, PhD, MSN, RN, is Professor Emerita, a leadership consultant, a retired hospital executive, and former Associate Dean for Clinical Practice, Partnership, and Community Engagement of the College of Nursing at the University of Cincinnati. A fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives, she's the president and CEO of KDB and Associates Consulting Service. Dr. Bankston is known for collaborating and engaging others for the benefit of changing culture, organizations, and communities to meet individual and group needs. Everywhere she's been, she's become revered for improving organizational culture and inclusivity while serving as a caring mentor.
I'm a native of Youngstown, Ohio, and recruited to Cincinnati in 1990 as an administrator at what we now know as the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. I became the first African-American CEO of a hospital when I then moved to become CEO at the Drake Center, and then joined the University of Cincinnati as an associate dean, where my research focused on looking at how the social determinants impacted individuals' ability to thrive. And now I've rewired myself, and I'm doing consulting, helping people to understand the importance of allowing individuals to be their whole authentic self in work environments, with a particular focus on healthcare organizations. I have spent 2 decades really working with individuals to really begin to try to see why it would be a better place if we would allow people to be themselves. their best self. We're here in the Freedom Center, and many people who've been here before have certainly seen the lovely quilt. And we always say how beautiful it is. I think we have that same opportunity with people. We do bring differences to the table, and we should be allowed as individuals to be the best that we could be. So I think that organizations like the Urban League have a responsibility to the communities that they serve so that people can live their best lives. When I got the call that I was going to be recognized as one of the Urban League's Lions, I literally started crying. I just am overwhelmed. So I am so honored to be considered with individuals that I absolutely believe are giants in our community.
Coming up, more of our Glorifying the Lion celebration. J. Phillip Holloman is a distinguished and accomplished business leader known for his focus and success-oriented determination. Mr. Holloman spent 22 years with the Cintas Corporation in a variety of progressive roles, culminating in his position as President and Chief Operating Officer. A dedicated community leader, Mr. Holloman lends his business expertise and wise counsel to several public and private nonprofit boards and organizations, including as the former board chair of the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio. Mr. Holloman and his wife Gail established the Seven Principles Foundation to provide grants to nonprofits specializing in childhood development, adult job readiness training, and social equity. In 2020, the Hollomans gave a transformational gift of $1 million to establish the Holloman Center for Social Justice at the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio to engage in policy advocacy work and community education to advance racial equity in the region.
I grew up in Middletown, Ohio. My father was a civil rights leader. And then also my mother, who I describe as an advocate mother, was always involved in various activities, whether it was school events or other community events. So I've always had that desire to not only give back, but be engaged. I worked for a number of years for Procter & Gamble, and then I joined Cintas and ultimately became the President and Chief Operating Officer. With the Urban League, I've been on the board for over 10 years, and I served as the chair of the board for a couple of years. And my passion will continue to be to help the African American community achieve as best we can. Generational wealth, healthcare, voting rights, representation, social justice, all of these areas continue to need work because we don't want to start this journey all over again. So we'll continue to fight the fight. The Urban League is extremely important because the Urban League operates at the grassroots level. I am so proud of the Urban League that we continue to be deeply engaged in the community and offering various forms of services and help to the African American community. And when we do that and we strengthen the African American community, we strengthen the entire community. The Holloman Center for Social Justice, we established it right after the tragic incident with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. My wife Gail and I were concerned about would it go off the front page in a few months and would people stop talking about it? And we just felt like it was very important for us to get engaged with all these municipalities and see what they were doing about police reforms. Because what we want to have happen is to work with them before an incident happens. Engagement is just so important, and those of us who have the wherewithal to do things, whether it be time or treasure, the community needs the help. Going in with a tremendous Lion class this year, I'm humbled by it, very important. The folks that I'm going in with have all made very significant contributions, not only to the Urban League and the African American community, but to the community as a whole. So the recognition is good, but the work is much more important.
When you look at the underserved community, there's a lot of barriers, and we want to make sure that in order to break generational poverty, that we put people on a path to generational wealth. We really want to support those that are unemployed and underemployed in gaining marketable skills for the workplace. We also provide financial literacy and education, as well as digital literacy and also subsistence support. So whatever barriers they are experiencing, we are able to help support that. So not only can they get a job, but they can keep a job.
Stay tuned to hear from more of our honorees. Welcome back to the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio's Glorifying the Lions. Michael Fisher is a transformational community and corporate leader who has helmed several of the region's most important institutions. As president and CEO of Cincinnati Children's, Mr. Fisher expanded and grew the medical center, culminating in a $600 million critical care building in 2021. Children's largest project in 138 years. Prior to joining Children's, Mr. Fisher served as president and CEO of the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber, where he led the launch of two enduring economic growth initiatives, the Minority Business Accelerator and Cincy Tech.
I'm a lifelong Cincinnatian, and along with my three brothers, grew up here and went to Walnut Hills High School. I feel very fortunate that my brothers and I had Mel and Roberta Fisher as our parents, and I think we learned a lot from them. Not only, of course, the value of hard work and education, but I think how to treat your fellow human being. And from that formative experience, I knew that part of my life's work was going to be to find ways to give back and help others. I had a bit of a winding way career. I had the privilege of being asked to lead our Chamber of Commerce here in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber. And after doing that for a period of time, I was given the enormous privilege and opportunity to become the CEO at Cincinnati Children's, which I did for 12 years. It's really been a common thread for me how to help make Cincinnati better with like-minded people from all walks of life. We did launch the Minority Business Accelerator really with the idea and the belief that there were many talented entrepreneurs in the African American community in particular who hadn't yet had the opportunities to build sizable and scalable businesses. Probably my first direct experience with the Urban League was on the heels of the race riots in Cincinnati in 2001, and I found in the Urban League at that time a really important partner as we sought to really understand what were some of the issues that led to the unrest in our community, and I see the Urban League as a really important part of the fabric of Cincinnati. What I hope for Cincinnati is that I think we all feel as at home as I have throughout my now 65 years of life. Being honored as a Lion means a lot to me, and to join this year's inductees as Lions, it means a lot.
Delores Hargrove-Young is vice chairwoman of D.E. Fox & Associates Incorporated, where she serves as a key strategic leader, ambassador, and advisor. Prior to stepping into this role, Ms. Hargrove-Young was president and chief operating officer of XLC Services. She was one of XLC's principal founders, responsible for business operations in 14 states. Ms. Hargrove-Young is committed to inspiring and developing young female leaders, increasing supplier diversity, and improving the economic stability of Cincinnati, as evidenced by her involvement and leadership in numerous community organizations. Delores was also recently honored as a 2024 Great Living Cincinnatian.
Moved here to Cincinnati in 1986. Started to work for D.E. Fox & Associates. Dave Fox had recently left P&G, and he wanted to start a temporary personnel agency. And he asked me, have you ever wanted to own your own business? And I thought, well, who doesn't? So we started XLC in 1986, and I actually used to call myself every day to make sure the phones were working. because no one was calling. Dave said that one day we're going to have 500 FTEs, and I told him I just want one. The DE Fox group of companies now have over 1,800 employees, and I'm now the vice chairwoman. I've been involved with the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio for over 2 decades. I was actually the chair for the development committee. We were responsible for ensuring that we raise funds. You want to make sure that people can have affordable housing. You want to make sure that people can have a living wage. And those are some of the things that the Urban League is actually passionate about and delivering against. When you're thinking about getting involved with an organization, you want to make sure that it aligns with your passion. And the Urban League is the place where you can truly make a difference. However, we still have a long ways to go. Giving to the Urban League will ensure that my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren see that victory lap. This is a tremendous honor to be added to the list of amazing lions that have gone before me.
Calvin D. Buford recently retired as a partner in the law firm Dinsmore & Scholl, LLP, where he remains of counsel with the firm. A native of Cincinnati and graduate of Harvard Law School, Mr. Buford became the first African-American to be elected partner of a major Cincinnati law firm. He has served on numerous boards throughout the region, including the Minority Business Accelerator, the Greater Cincinnati Foundation, and has served as chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio. His wise counsel and legal brilliance has earned him several awards and recognitions over the years, as well as the admiration and appreciation of hundreds of corporate and community leaders.
I was actually born and raised right here in Cincinnati. After law school, I can recall my mother telling me that you have had a successful academic career and you've returned home as a Harvard-trained lawyer, but if you want to earn the respect of the Black community, you're going to have to be present in the community. I knew from early on that I was going to have to spend time showing up and rolling up my sleeves and doing the work in the community, and that's what I did. I'm a history buff. And so I am very familiar with the history of Cincinnati. It has, this rich history that I think could result in really the city being at the forefront of some important models of success in terms of solving some of the problems that cities like Cincinnati and other cities have. So I've always thought that Cincinnati kind of punched above its weight. I actually have a really special affinity with the Urban League. I was fortunate enough to be chair of the board 25 years ago. And during that time frame, we actually raised the funds to build a current building. The Urban League has such a strong tradition here in Cincinnati. It's only added additional programs, and since that time, it's moved more into the entrepreneurial space, which I think is such an important part of the work that it does now. So when an organization is working, is having impact, doing positive good in the community, you've got to support it. My mother was honored as a Lion for her many years of work in the community. So with that history that I have with the League, you can imagine how gratifying it is now to receive this award. I would say that it's particularly humbling to know that I'm in a class of Lions really as impressive as those as my fellow honorees.
Coming up, the conclusion of the Glorifying the Lion celebration.
We thank all of our sponsors for their continued commitment to making our work possible. Ruby sponsor, J. Phillip and Gail Holloman. Gold sponsors, BT Rise and the Turner Family Foundation, Fifth Third Bank, Greater Cincinnati Foundation, John and Francie Pepper, and Kroger.
John E. Pepper enjoyed a 40-year career in various positions at Procter & Gamble, culminating in the role of Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the Board. Mr. Pepper currently serves as Director Emeritus of the Board of the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center after previously serving as CEO. Mr. Pepper served as chairman of the board of the Walt Disney Company from 2007 to 2012. He also served as vice president of finance and administration at Yale University. He and his wife, Francie, have donated countless hours to numerous organizations with a special passion for early childhood and youth development.
I grew up in suburban Philadelphia, came to Cincinnati solely because I've been offered a position at Procter & Gamble. And then following that, only by about a year, the most important thing in my life happened, and that was meeting my wife on the infield of the Kentucky Derby. So we finally got married in 1967. We've ended up having 4 children and 10 grandchildren scattered across the United States, my greatest hope for the future. I was going to be a lawyer. I'd been accepted to Harvard Law School. I had the idea of spending 1 year in business before I went back to the stacks. I ended up staying at P&G for 40 years, and 20 years after that, I still feel part of it. Why did I change my career direction? It was the fundamental commitment to pursue truth and pursue learning, because we have enormous unmet needs. We still have systemic inequalities, inequities. So we need people who are passionate about what they do to continue the fight for equity, for doing what's right. So get involved in something you can do that improves another person's life. Urban League, for me, is one of the foundational institutions in this great city of ours. To have any recognition from its leaders, for me and the wonderful people for being honored with me, that's a pretty good thing. The Urban League, of course, stands tall for something I've been very associated with for over 25 years, National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. And obviously its commitment to advance the cause of social and racial justice, pursuing acts of courage, cooperation, perseverance, that's right at the center of the Urban League. So there's a confluence here of our own commitments that makes this especially meaningful to me, because the work's not done. It's up to us. We've got to go beyond talking about it. We need action. We've always had pushback. We can't allow it to stop us. We've got to gird up and keep going.
Thank you so much for joining us for this inspiring program. We hope you're moved by the stories of these 6 lions. To honor a lion and support the great work that the Urban League is doing in our community, use the camera on your phone to scan the QR code on your screen or go to the website shown below to donate. Once again, thank you for watching the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio's 30th Glorifying the Lions celebration.